DutyRon. Guys, I'm a retired New York City police detective, as you know, with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And if you like all things true crime related from that police perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. Today we're going to talk about Trezell and Jacqueline West. We know 2 days ago they were presented in court, formally charged, assigned attorneys, and pled not guilty. We're going to get into it in a minute. Before we get into it, I want to say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage in all of these live streams. You know, you guys are an instrumental part in making this a great community, and I can't give enough thanks and praise to you guys for conducting yourselves in a professional manner, for keeping the integrity of the cases all very secure and safe, and listening to good, valid information. I really love that you guys are here to learn about the police perspective, the police side, the prosecutor's side, what the investigators really actually do on these cases. That's what makes this a great place, is because we can all learn from each other. You know, us as investigators, we learn from the public. We get tips from the public. So we work hand in hand with each other, and I think it's a great thing. So Princess Michelle, all the moderators, Shannon Candela is here, Dawn Marie, Matty Boy Sully, I saw Black Rose, 11, all of my great mods, Gerda Coates from South Africa is here. Thank you for joining. By a show of hands, hey, by a show of hands, who caught Thursday night's live stream? Was that Thursday? No, we didn't go live last night. Wednesday night's live stream with me, the return of Ed Wallace, Joe Murray, and our good friend from the Kern County Coalition Against Human Trafficking, Dustin Contreras. Put a 1 in the chat, or just put your hand up if you were there. Dawn was there. Kitchen Gadget was there. Princess Michelle was there. Crystal, the Black Rose, Moonlight View. Thank you for being a channel member. Yvette, good to see you. Thank you. Christine was there. Army Mom, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Much love and respect to everyone who got to see it live, or for those folks outside of the country, they got to see the replay. So if you watched it live, I'm just trying to see how many people saw it live. If you saw it on the replay, put a number 5 in the chat. If you were a replay viewer, put a 5 or type replay. If you're lazy, just put a 5 in. It's easier. For the replay viewers, I just want to see how many replay people saw the live. Lady is a Tramp puts in a 0. She didn't see anything. A lot of hands up. So thank you. Thank you to the replay viewers. All right. So here we are. Justice, the wheels of justice are just starting to turn. The wheels of justice are in motion. Jacqueline and Trezell stand charged with a heinous, heinous crime committed against our boys, our 2 boys. We spent 14 plus months searching for answers. We spent 14 grueling months passing out flyers, passing out flyers, making banners, fundraising, getting information gathered, trying to find, where are the boys? Trying to find the boys. 14 grueling months. There are so many people who put efforts forward that are just unbelievable. Just an unbelievable amount of humanity and generosity, all behind our boys. You know, Sincere and Classic are now, throughout the course of this investigation and this search for them, they became the boys of the world, right? These 2 boys are everybody's. We all love them. And that's why we're here. If you're here and you're watching this video, or if you're engaging in these videos, you have love for these 2 beautiful, innocent babies. These boys had their lives snuffed out by their adoptive parents. We now know they stand, they're innocent until proven guilty, but they stand charged with murder of these 2 babies. And this is just something that we knew in my heart. I knew it all along the way. And I got to tell you, Jennifer Nobles and all of the ladies on the ground in Bakersfield, including Roro, they all didn't want to hear that the boys were gone, and I didn't want to hear it either. I didn't want to think it in my mind, but I knew right here in my investigative heart that there was something very bad and something very wrong. And we knew it from the get-go. So what I want to talk to you about today, is that tonight, Robert Vogel, good to see you. Thank you for joining, you and Princess Mitchell. Princess Mitch, thank you for being here and being a channel member. So, yeah, I mean, Chief B, I wouldn't want to be their attorney. I wouldn't want to be, you know. So they pled not guilty, and what I want to go through with you guys, and I want to get your feedback, right? I want to see your feedback. Emmy Bear, I'm aware of it, but again, it's not pertaining to the justice of what's happening. I am staying focused on Sincere and Classic. What went on with the other two adoptive children, we don't know. We don't know anything about that background. But right now I'm concentrating my efforts on a successful prosecution and having these two. The end prize and the end result is we want to have Jacqueline and Trezell with a pair of Smith & Wessons on for the remainder of their lives. And I know that Mary London over in the UK hates the noise of this, but this is what we want to hear at the end of that trial. The judge say, take charge, sentence imposed. And this is what I'm concentrating on. And don't call me mean for it, but call me focused. I'm focused on getting justice. I want those pieces of garbage, those scumbags, Trezell and Jacqueline, to spend the rest of their lives in jail. And that's the main focus. I'm not looking to taint the case. I'm not looking to put out information about the case because I know a lot about what's going on in the investigation. I don't have access to the case file, but I definitely know a lot of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. And this is not a place. This is not a time. The time and place, what is appropriate right now is mourning the loss of these two boys along with the biological family and Roro included, and all of the people who are at Ground Zero in Bakersfield. They need our support. Now, we supported them all along the way with the billboards, with funding. You know, don't forget, when they had the birthday party for Sincere and Classic, our channel also, and it's because of you guys. And I keep bringing this up because you guys are so amazing, right? Our channel sent in money, and you can ask Ro about it. You can ask any of the people who were involved in putting those two birthday parties together. We sent money for hot dogs and for food of any means. I sent money to them so they could buy things for Sincere and Classic to celebrate their birthday without them being there. And unbeknownst to us, they were already deceased. They were already murdered. We didn't know that. But it was because of you guys that we were able to do that. And that's what makes this a great thing. That's what makes this community so strong and so great, is that we were able to support from miles and miles away, thousands of miles away. Some of you are on the other side of the world, in the UK, in New Zealand, in Australia, in South Africa. So all of the folks who donated and sent money, we repurposed it and sent thousands and thousands of dollars. I was going to say hundreds, but we sent thousands and thousands of dollars to Lamar Advertising for the billboards and to Roro for celebrations for those boys. That is the nicest and most heartwarming, humane thing that we could do from a far distance, right? From a far, far distance. And I have so much thanks and respect for all of you guys. I can't overemphasize it. Can't overemphasize it. I can't say it enough, is what I'm saying. But this is what we want to see at the end of the trial. We want court officers in the Kern County courthouse to throw double pair. One of these on Trezell, one of these on Jacqueline with the shackles, and the judge says, sentence imposed, life in prison without the possibility of parole, ×2, and we want them sentenced and sent off into their cage. And they live a pathetic, not one good day in jail, not one good day in prison. They'll eventually be in prison. That's what we want to strive for. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. So, again, that's the focus for Crime Time with DutyRon. I'm not saying that anybody else can have focuses on, Wanda West should be arrested, and what about everybody else that knew about it and that tried to cover it up. The main course of frying in the pan right now and I hate to use this terminology, but I like to use layman's terms. The main course that's frying in the pan right now is Trezell and Jacqueline. Trezell and Jacqueline are the main course that need to be fried. Not, not who is responsible for taking the kids away, but they need to be held accountable. I'm talking about right now. And this is my opinion. You guys could vary with it, and I respect it. But Trezell and Jacqueline, the ones that were responsible for taking these beautiful boys' lives, they're the ones who we want in that frying pan right now. And that's who I concentrate the most on. And I am going to do what I can to make sure that that happens and that goes forward in all of the integrity of the investigation stays solid. They need to be sentenced 2 times, life in prison without the chance of parole. Nothing more, nothing less. In the frying pan, Trezell and Jacqueline West, that's it. All of these other people, the charges for covering or trying to help them get away are insignificant compared to the murder second degree charges. That's what we need to focus on tonight at about 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern, I'm not sure. Friday night is date night with Mrs. DutyRon. But tonight, either 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern, me and Ed Wallace. Ed Wallace and I is the proper wording. I said me and Ed Wallace. You guys know what I meant. Ed Wallace and I will go on live tonight, and we will talk about crime scene evidence and collection. What possibly did the California City Police, the Bakersfield Police Department, and the FBI, what potential evidence do they have? We don't have access to the case file, so we're going to talk about what we saw them walking out of the house with. Those of you who remember, there was 46 search warrants that were executed, and they were coming out of the house with paper bags. Those of you who are here know that we are crime scene experts. Ed Wallace is a forensic expert. He teaches for LSU. He teaches other police departments about evidence collection and DNA. So my co-host, Ed Wallace, is a teacher. He's an expert in crime scene investigation. So we're going to talk tonight. And let me know if you're interested in this. Just by a show of hands, who would be interested in hearing about evidence collection and the potential of what they could use on a no-body homicide case? Again, this is a double homicide case with no bodies recovered. But it doesn't mean that along the way, we could have remains recovered. We don't know what the future holds. We don't have a crystal ball where we could look into a crystal ball and say, hey, they're never going to find Sincere and Classics remains. They may very well interview or interrogate somebody, maybe take Jacqueline and Trezell and pit them against each other and use the investigative tools that we have in our tool shed, in our tool belt, and get a confession from either one of them. And I would say, if you want to ask me, DutyRon, who do you think they could get a confession out of? Out of the two of them, I would say Jacqueline would be the one who I think would crack, because I just feel that in my investigative tool set, my skill set, and I'm thinking Jacqueline is the one that if we had a chance to get her to turn and get her to give up information, I think she would be the one. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. All right, so again, I didn't go live yesterday because there was really not a lot to talk about, and there was a lot of people speaking about stuff. So Jacqueline and Trezell pled not guilty in court on Wednesday. And any lawyer, they were assigned a public defender, right? They can't afford an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed by the court. The court appointed attorneys for Jacqueline and Trezell. Brent Montgomery, thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the other super chat that I missed. I apologize for that. And let me just say this: if you haven't become a channel member, consider becoming a channel member. $2.99 a month. You can become a channel member. For the whole year, it's less than $35. Consider becoming a channel member. I would greatly appreciate that. Two more children that were interested. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Say hey to Alicia. Again, the fish to fry and the investigation that we need to concentrate on is Jacqueline and Trezell being put in jail. You know, so that's the only thing I'm concentrating on now. It's horrible. I understand there's two other kids, but they are in protective custody. They're in probably foster care right now. They're not. They are not alive. They are alive. We don't have the information on them, but again, the parents who those kids were either removed from have no legal right to even demand or request information. I saw the interview and I saw the video last night on, I think, KGET or one of the outlets. But again, their legal rights are limited. Okay, so don't kill the messenger, but that's the truth. Their legal rights are limited. Again, once your children are taken from you for reasons that are for their safety, and they're fostered and then adopted out. It's the same thing with Ryan Dean, and you know, my heart breaks for her, and I talk about her husband, the two fathers of the boys. My heart breaks for those folks. I couldn't tell you how much my heart breaks for them. But again, when the process is in motion and it's done, there's no do-overs. There's no, hey, wait a minute, can we do this again? Can we start over? Can I just get, you know, we heard Ryan Dean say, she was crying. So I just want my babies back. You know, that interview is heart-wrenching to hear, right? It's so hard to listen to that because anybody that's a good human being feels horrible for them. Anybody who is cruel and callous would say, well, she's no good anyway. She was a no good mother. No, that's not how you do it. That's not how humanity is supposed to work. You're supposed to say to yourself, yes, her rights were terminated, but I'm not going to be that bad person and kick somebody when they're down. I'm not about kicking people when they're down. I'm about trying to lift people up and support them. This is a situation that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And I really don't have any enemies that, at least that I know of. But I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. So it's up to us to be good people. It's up to us to say, I can't help them. I can't make their kids come back to life. They're gone, right? The kids are taken away from them. They've been away from the other couple that was on the TV last night. Their kids were removed from them since 2018 or whatever the date is. We can't fix that. But we certainly don't need to bash them and kick them when they're down. We need to just leave it alone and let them go through their legal process. And if they truly, honest and truly want to know what happened to their children or get their children back, then they got to go through the process. But I know that once it's done, it's a done deal. So let me refocus on what I was trying to say. Okay, so again, Trezell and Jacqueline West pled not guilty to all the charges. The attorneys are appointed by the courts, and any good attorney is going to tell them, listen, what do you have to lose by pleading not guilty? You have nothing to lose, because if you plead guilty, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. If you plead not guilty, at least you have a chance of catching the state. That's the district attorneys. The state has the burden of proof to prove them beyond a reasonable doubt guilty of murder in the second degree of Sincere and Classic. So why not? Why would not a defense attorney tell them, take your chance and see if they slip up or make a mistake, or see if somebody gets secret information out and we can call for a mistrial or some. There's so many opportunities a defense attorney can see and grab and twist and turn into just a sliver of reasonable doubt. If you don't have beyond a reasonable doubt and the jury has just a slither of doubt, they can't come back with a guilty verdict. Are we all on that same page? Who wants a guilty verdict? Me. We all want a guilty verdict, for crying out loud. None of us want to see a not guilty. If you want to see a not guilty, get the hell out of here. Get out of here. I don't want you around. So for us to get a not guilty, for us to get a guilty, We need to all be on the same page and fighting for justice and not trying to hinder prosecution. None of us should want to hinder prosecution. We want to make sure that the district attorney has all of the tools that they need to put these scumbags away for the rest of their lives. And here's good old Smith & Wesson again. Smith & Wesson coming to the rescue. You can even see my serial number on the Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson coming to the rescue. And we want to hear this. Some would say, hey, DutyRon, why do you have these handcuffs in your car? I am still a licensed armed guard. I'm a licensed armed guard in the state of New York, which you're allowed to carry handcuffs because you can make an arrest. You can detain somebody. If somebody does something in my commission of my work, I have to have these. So these are in my office. I bring them out to my car. I bring them out to the car to show you guys. But this is part of my work. I have my pistol with me. I got my handcuffs. I am an armed, licensed by the Department of the State of New York security guard. Armed guard. So, there we have it. Click, 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 click. Thank you. So, who is available for some Friday night crime scene evidence conversation about Sincere and Classic, Trezell and Jacqueline West? We're going to talk about some of the possibilities of electronic evidence, of anything that could be pertaining to the boys, like hair fibers, dried up saliva collected from bedding from the past. Don't forget, they fled. Now we know that they, sometime between September 1st and September 30th, they murdered Sincere and Classic, Orrin and Orson West. So sometime between September 1st, 2020, and September 30th, 2020, those boys were murdered by Trezell and Jacqueline West. And we also know that they enticed and encouraged and forced those children, and we don't know if it's all of them or one or two. We don't have the particulars, but they induced those children to engage in the act of murder along with them. Now, we don't know if the children did that themselves or if Trezell and Jacqueline participated along with them. We don't know if it constituted how they did it. Was it a drowning? Was it a bludgeoning? Was it a stabbing? We don't know. And anybody that talks about knowing what it is full of crap. So, we want to talk about evidence collection. What could potentially be there that they could have collected? And we're going to speak in some hypotheticals. We're going to speak about some potentials. We're not going to speak that this is the evidence they had. This is the evidence that they have, because we don't know, right? It is a monstrous, heinous crime. And me being a seasoned New York City police detective, I've seen it all. I've seen people cut up into pieces and put into garbage bags, and then someone comes across it and they call us. We have to open up the bags and see what's inside there. I've been to a crime scene where a 7-year-old boy was thrown down a garbage compactor from the 15th floor of a housing project, thrown down the garbage compactor, dead, killed by strangulation, stuffed in a garbage compactor, down the chute. The compactor compacted them in a bag, the boy, compound fractures all over his legs. We got the call from maintenance that this kid was in the compactor, and I opened up the bag. Think about that. Horrific, but we are used to seeing this stuff, but you never get used to it. We're used to this kind of horrific, because our jobs as police officers and detectives, we take an oath to protect and serve. And that means the people who you're scared of, the monsters that are amongst us, it's our job to go and get them. So again, remember, when you talk about police and law enforcement and military, you cannot have fear. You cannot be fearful of evil, because that's who you have to hunt. That's what we do. So, we can talk about Chris Watts and how he put his poor daughters in the oil tanks. The detectives and police and emergency service and fire services, who do you think had to take those little girls? Who do you think had to take them out of those oil tanks? The police, the fire, the emergency service people. They had to see that. Okay, this is what we do. Thank you, Vet Girl RWB. Thank you. We don't know. I don't think that there's any other victims at this time that we know of, but we will find out. Listen, at the opening statement, I'm thinking about this seriously. I'm having a conversation, right? I'm thinking about this statement, guys. Grandma 4, she's unbelievable. Roro's unbelievable. She may join me tonight. Roro may join tonight. Think about this. I just lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was just trying to say. All right, so I just lost my train of thought. If anybody who was paying attention can remind me what I was talking about, bring it back to me. Let me reel it in. But again, we have to realize that there is evil amongst us. There's evil amongst us, and they're walking around us all day, every day. Thank you. The 2 daughters of Chris Watts. Thank you. So those people were tasked with taking care of recovering these little babies, little girls who were murdered by their own parents. And then they have to listen to statements and look at crime scene photos. Ed Wallace is here in the chat, right? Ed Wallace is in the chat. And again, he could tell you because he was a crime scene expert. He worked in the crime scene unit. You can't shake these images. Those images never leave you. And if you don't speak about them and you don't talk to people or talk about it and you bottle that up, it could cause major PTSD. I am honored to be co-hosting, having Ed as a co-host and have Ed on the channel with me because he's a fellow brother in blue. He's a fellow law enforcement brother. So if we ever need to talk and we ever have a hard time, Ed knows that he could come to me and I know that I could come to Ed. And that's the great part. But it goes one step further. The people who are traumatized by the events of Sincere and Classic being murdered in such a heinous fashion, in which we will find out. And I just remembered what I was going to say. So my old brain just worked. I am thinking of flying out to California to listen to the opening arguments, the opening statement by the prosecutor, by the Kern County DA, and the defense. I'm thinking of flying out there and getting into that courtroom to listen to opening arguments. And I only want to hear that. I don't want to stay for the whole trial. I want to hear the opening arguments, So again, me and Ed have each other to bounce stuff off. He's married to a first grade detective. His wife is a detective. But I have a ton of friends who I can bounce stuff off. You guys also, as human beings, and I'm talking about regular civilians who are dealing with this trauma, like Roro and everybody that's down in Ground Zero in Bakersfield, they have each other. They get together. They have the candlelight vigils. They have the candlelight prayers, as they like to call them. They get together and they talk. So that's what's great about that whole network, is that everybody is together. Thank you for becoming a channel member. And thank you for some of the other folks who joined. Terry, I appreciate it. Blondie in the UK, thank you for being here. Janine Goodwin, great to see you. Grandma 4. We all need to be together. We need to support each other, get behind each other. When we see something that's wrong, we need to correct it and then stand behind each other. Right? If somebody's doing something wrong, we need to correct it. You can't be silent about it. Like we talk about it. If you see something, say something. Interviewing witnesses and potential people who have testified. I'm talking about other cases. We all are curious. We all want to be investigative reporters, right? But you have to think about the victims and their families. The victims who are deceased. If you go out and try to shake the tree, so to speak, you could be interfering with an active investigation. Like we thought Bakersfield and everybody just stopped investigating our boys. They never stopped investigating our boys, as we know. For a whole year, They took the case on March 1st of 2021. March 1st of 2022, we have 2 collars. We have 2 arrests. And all along that time, there was periods where we were like, oh, well, not me, but people were saying, they ain't doing shit. They're not doing anything. They're Bakersfield, they're corrupt. They don't care about us. They're not looking for our boys. They're not trying to bring justice. But look at what happened. We got them in, they're handcuffed and shackled. 1 year to the day. Right? Crystal Champion, that's a possibility, but we don't know that. So that's the thing. I wanted to come live. I'm already 30 minutes. I'm 15 minutes past my welcome. Make sure you subscribe to this community. Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We'll be live tonight between 9 and 10 o'clock p.m. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all one word. Consider becoming a channel member. We do channel member only live streams sometimes on the weekends where me and Ed kick back. I have Dave Rader come on with me. I have a lot of special guests for the channel members, and we do exclusive content for you guys. You can ask me questions privately in the Facebook members only. We have a channel members Facebook only group. So consider that. We have a Discord group for members only. It's a lot of great stuff that you get for that $2.99 a month. Consider trying it out. If you don't like it after 30 days, you can always cancel. There's no restocking or handling fees or anything like that. I love you right back, Jeffrey. Thank you. Thank you. Again, it is what it is, guys. We need to just be good people. We need to support each other and support the justice that needs to be served for Sincere and Classic. All right? Guys, as I like to always end these things, thank you for the replay viewers. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to everyone who supports. And thank you to just the subscribers and folks who leave the messages. Your comments get looked at. Every one of them I look at. I appreciate them. I love them. I love the engagement. I love to talk to you guys because that's what this is about. Our live streaming is about engagement. Thank you, Lieutenant Pete. Thank you, boss. Justice for our boys, says Gerda. Thank you. Lauren McKenzie. Thank you. Heidi Zip. Great to see you, Alicia B. Love and respect. Dawn Marie. Thank you for that. Danielle. You rock. Joey Brooklyn is in the house. Rita Schaefer. Sandy F. See you tonight. Cher Bear. Jen Lowe. I love you. Jen H. There's all these Jens. Rose. I hope you're feeling better. Rose, I know. Sergeant Friday. You're awesome. Thank you, guys. Blondie. Good to see you. Without Richella, there's no Pete, and without Pete, there's no Richella. All right, guys, love and respect from DutyRon. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. But especially all victims of crime and their family, Sincere and Classic, their family, their biological family, they need us now more than ever, and our police in Bakersfield and our district attorney in Kern County, they need us. Guys, love and respect from DutyRon. See you tonight.